I decided after all to come to New York. And here was a lot of Russians already, but being alone, it was extremely hard when you are a young woman and a lot of young men around and immigration, always after you, their principle, why not? So that was extremely hard. And as I said, in '76, I met my future husband when he came for Christmas to visit his aunt. And since we were very friendly, so we met and fell in love. And in '77, he left Flint and he came to New York.
What was his name?
David.
His full name? His last name?
Last name was the same as my Shapashnikova, and he changed it to Shapov when both of us got citizenship. When we registered our marriage, we had to swear that we are not related. And this was true. That was coincidence because this is not a very common name. But, so we lived together 10 years. I had my daughter, though by that time I thought that I will never have a child. Since my best young years I was alone, I would never have a child out of wedlock. And when we got married, he was older. He was born in '32. Yeah, he was 7 years older. So in '77, he was already 45 years old. He said it's a little bit late to become a father, but he said every woman has a right to be a mother. So I went to a doctor and I said the whole story when I had cesarean and this and that. I said, probably too late. No, he said, you're a healthy woman, so try. If you cannot, so I'll help you. Try it, and my daughter was born. It was
so wonderful.
Yeah, such a blessing that I have my daughter.
You and David had Emily in 1981, right? So.
Yeah, and we lived together, but my husband had very creative mind, being a screenwriter and director and all that, extremely intellectual. But with that comes something else. He was extremely selfish. And he loved me, but at the same time, me and my surrounding, my friends, he looked down upon. You see, they were below his level because he used to be friends, to be in touch with elite, like more creative people, writer, artists, what that. My friends mostly like me, middle class, most programmers, or even who wasn't a programmer in Russia. So, but that is not the main point. The main point that he gave himself a right to use me in the sense of to live out of me. So because he was so creative, he tried a few times. He tried to make movie. It didn't work out. Then he worked for a while on 47th Street on the jewelry for $3 an hour filing jewelry. And that was really beneath him. And at that time, I got a job as a consultant already for $245 a day. And that was big disparity.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah. And little by little that grew. He was a very good father. He loved our daughter, but he was a loser here. Being so successful back in Odessa, he was a loser here. And that I will step back a little bit. When he was married to his first wife, he went to Los Angeles, to Hollywood, to try to get a job as editor in the movie, because this was his favorite work to do. But to get a job as an editor, you have to belong to a union. And he found some connection to get to a union. But at that time, his wife found some boyfriend, some American guy, and she informed him that I'm leaving you. I have another man that I'm in love. He dropped everything and came to Flint. It was too late, and when we came back to Los Angeles, to California, nothing already worked for him. He was doing jobs like painting apartments, something like that. So eventually when he came back again to Flint, he got a job on GE, making a documentary movie for GE. And he was given 6 months trial. But then after 6 months, that job was taken by somebody, a nephew of some high position employee. So he lost that. At that time we met and he came here. So from his point, he was a loser. And at the same time, I became a consultant. I was the breadwinner, and for sure somehow it didn't work. And then he was sick. He got a heart attack. And we, at that time, since I was making pretty good money, we bought a house in Rockland County. Not a big house, but so we moved, and at that point he got a heart attack, and I stayed all by myself with a 2-year-old baby. I didn't drive, and in order to go to a station, you have to drive, so I had to learn to drive, and it was snowing. I couldn't even get my car very often from a driveway, so it was a complete disaster. And after he got sick, so he didn't. The reason that we moved to Rockland County, because he got a job as a jewelry model, and that was located in Rockland County. That's why we moved there. For me, it was a disaster because it took almost 2 hours one way to come to work. I worked at Manhattan at that time, manufacturers Hanover Bank. So I had to drive to the station, take a train for more than an hour, then path to the city, and then walk from there. So you're talking almost 2 hours, 1 hour, 50 minutes, I think, was one way. And after he got a heart attack, that was even more difficult. So we sold that house. We moved to New Jersey, if you know West New York. So we bought an apartment there. We moved there. And then he got a new idea to create a studio, a photo studio, which was extremely expensive. That was a venture that for sure we didn't have money. So I refinanced our apartment and got the money and gave him. And so he tried to make something, those machines that create a background. You're probably familiar with that. Mm-hmm. And whatever, spent a ton of money, got into some contracts, whatever. And at that time, I met Igor, my current husband. And we had a lot in common because he just split from his wife. So unlucky marriage for me was not lucky marriage. And somehow we got together. I had a lot of reservation leaving my husband.
Yeah, it's difficult.
It's very difficult. And he was saying that you take away my daughter, I will die, and this will be on your conscience. You will have to live all your life with this. And a psychologist that I went to told me, I still remember his words so many years ago, that could happen, yes, could happen to him, but this is his life. Could happen that he will meet a woman and will live happily. Could happen, then your crime is not a crime. And the latter happened. He went to San Diego, where his son from previous marriage lived. And San Diego, as you know, has beautiful climate. He probably would not survive in New York. So he left all the debts, all the contract for business, everything to me. And he requested $100,000, knowing that I have no money at all. And at some point he said, I want my daughter. Okay, take her. I knew that he was bluffing because he couldn't support her. I want an apartment. Okay, take the apartment with all that mortgage, all the debts that I... So he took a car, he took TV, whatever he took. I said, take anything. I never had a divorce with lawyers, whatever. So when I finally had divorce, they asked me, your husband doesn't help with the child? I said, no, he has no money. I owe him. And when I said I will pay you 100,000, which he knew I had no penny, I was paying. His friend said, how come you didn't take a receipt, a paper, whatever? He said, because I know Marina, if he said, she will pay. And I paid him through a couple of years. I paid him 100,000. At that time, Igor already got official divorce from his wife. His wife has a son, had a son, and Igor completely, completely supported the family, up to a point when parking tickets were coming to our address. Everything. The house, the car, you name it, everything was there. And I was paying, meanwhile, my husband the 100,000. But I have no regret because the marriage didn't work already. And to say what was successful, to me it looks like every of my steps in life is a mistake. It could be done differently.
Well, I don't agree with that, but you've had many distinctively different phases in your life. It's amazing.
Yes, it's true. My daughter was saying something, oh, Mom, you're so successful with men. You had 3 husbands, all good looking. I say, no, success in life when you have one husband and you live happily after you getting all together and you always keep that intimate feeling of closeness, what I call it holding hands. Not
That's
always.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long were you married to David?
10 years. 10 years, and I'm already with Igor 28 years.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing, yeah. So my dream came through that I had a baby. I love my daughter dearly. Then my biggest dream was for her to get married. So last year it happened. June 15 of last year she got married. Right after that, in July, tomorrow will be exactly a year, as I got into a car accident. Almost got killed, but didn't. Just broke badly my foot, that I still feel it. But thank God my daughter got married, and my next dream was grandson, a baby, which she has now. And I don't know. Now, instead of being happy, my daughter is married, my grandson, I feel my biggest problem, anxiety. My not ability to live in present. I always have those regrets about past. I did this wrong and this wrong, or future. Maybe will this happen or that happen. And I spoke a little bit yesterday about it, that not too many people are capable to live in the present. I cannot call myself a pessimist, but still I dwell on my mistakes, what I did wrong. So I don't know, and I have to remind myself what good I have in life, and I have a lot of good things. This video, this legacy, what I decide to do, it mostly for sure for my daughter when she gets older, and mostly for my beautiful grandson. What?
That's Grandma.
leaving soon.
That's Grandma. This one, just that one.
What can be? Anything can be more beautiful than a baby, newborn baby. You see his eyes? He's focusing.
Yeah.
He's focusing. He's looking.
You're looking around? That's
Do you see?
Grandma.
Your grandma. Your grandma. Yeah. You still have a whole month. You will grow more. If you're handsome now, what will be in a month from now?
I don't know.
You will be unbearably handsome.
Can't handle it.
Thank
серенький козлик. Серенький козлик, серенький козлик. Бабушка козлика очень любила. Очень любила. Водкой поила.
Stretching. Oh, we love the stretching.
Stretch.
Oh.
What a macho man. What a macho man.
Oh,
Okay, you can do it. You can do it. I will allow. Tired, falling asleep. I hope that he will enjoy watching it. David is my ex-husband, my daughter's father, and his middle name Michelle, which is the name of my son-in-law's father. So David Michelle. And don't even ask me, the last name is weird, Kirsrot. It took me a while to remember, and especially the spelling.
Is that Russian? No.
No, his father is from France, but Polish origin. So this is more Polish last name.
And when you got divorced with David, he moved to San Diego, and how was the relationship between the two of you raising your daughter on separate coasts?
He completely moved away. The first year or so, we couldn't even correspond because he was very hurt by the fact that I left him. But then, that my daughter still remembers, she visited him a couple of times in San Diego, and but he never was a part of my daughter's life. It was his choice, and I believe was a part of his nature. Out of sight, out of heart, how you say it. So he could be because my daughter is a very affectionate, very loving person, and they just call each other, like he would call on her birthday, she would call him on his birthday and Father's Day, and she visited him a couple of times. But 2 years ago, when he passed away, just when he was in a hospital, his wife called Emily, and Emily immediately went to San Diego with her, at that time, boyfriend. They were not married yet. And I have really to give credit to my son-in-law, James, his name. So he asked David's blessing to marry Emily, though at that time he didn't propose formally yet. And I spoke to David that evening of the night when he passed away. I spoke to him, and he was very, when you come to term, he knew that he was dying. So he said, that's what has to be, so let it be. So, but he liked James very much, and I'm very happy that my daughter is happy. So.
And you also mentioned, things, I understand we all have regrets, but you also have a wonderful talent to focus on the positive. So you told me yesterday when you and David decided to split up, David took it very hard, but you found happiness and love with Igor, and he also found somebody else. Is that right?
Yes.
And he was happy about that.
Yes. He was happy, and as much as he could, because my daughter said that I met her. They came actually, she and her son, and David's sister with her husband. They all came, and Emily's half-brother, they all came to Emily's wedding, which was very nice. So she is a nice woman. but I don't know her clothes. I saw her a couple of times. Emily said that she took good care of him, otherwise probably he wouldn't survive because he had another heart attack and the first time he had quadruple surgery. Now they took those veins from the other leg. He was a pretty sick man, that's why I felt so guilty. But I cannot say that I did it only for my daughter, but if not that, my daughter would never get a good education as we could give her together with Igor. But Emily, who met her, she said she is a nice woman, but David never had such a relationship with me. You know, to so much in common and whatever. But what counts that he lived all these years with her. She took care of him. She was younger, and I think she is a very nice person. And David, all his life, he was saying that he doesn't want anybody to come to his grave. And he told all his close that when he dies, he wants to be cremated, and the ashes spread over the ocean. And that's what they did.